Another year over and a new one's just begun. 2024 has come to an end, and with it, a pretty decent year for film. Yes, there were some stinkers. Yes, there was the fall of the Sony empire. Ooh. But there was also a lot of really good ones, some good sci-fi, a lot of good horror, and some pretty fun surprises. Now, there are some movies I did not get a chance to see yet. I saw The TV Glow, The First Omen, One Life, The Brutalist, The Order, and In Violent Nature. I did not get to see those yet, but I'm hoping to see them very, very soon. In terms of my honorable mentions, I'll get those out of the way really quickly. Mads, this was a one-shot French horror movie that kind of talked about zombies. It was pretty impressive. I wish I got to see this in theaters. Inside Out 2, pretty decent sequel, was the biggest movie of the year, which kind of surprises me, but very decent. Civil War, while the movie did not have as many of the political, theological messages that it thought that people might have, it actually was a pretty decent movie just about war, and the sound design and the military authenticity of this movie was surprisingly good. Furiosa, while it did take way too long for this movie to come out, it was still pretty cool to get back into the Mad Max universe, if only maybe just a little bit too much CGI. And then finally, Deadpool and Wolverine. While the movie's plot is probably about the size of a napkin, it was one of the funner experiences for me this year. And it proved that comic book movies, while maybe not being as broad or as defining as they can be, can still be very, very fun. All right, so with that out of the way, we're going to do the top 7. I always do 7 because I'm weird like that. Starting off with number 7, Alien Romulus. Aside from that one really bad get away from her bitch line, I really enjoyed this movie. It was fun to see an alien movie be scary again. It was fun to see an alien movie be good again. I do know that there are some elements of this movie that move too quickly for some people, but aside from those elements, this movie still was very loyal to what made the original Alien films fun. You're watching these characters get picked off. You're seeing the aliens in these terrifying new ways. And of course, with Fide, he had to make it fucking weird at the end, but it's still really fun because of that. And that's why I really enjoyed Alien Romulus. It was just fun to actually be terrified of xenomorphs again. Number 6, now you probably won't know what this is, King's Tide. This is a Canadian sort of thriller movie about a island that is blessed with this child that has healing powers, but then as things go along, it starts to turn into more of a hindrance, more of a curse on the village rather than a blessing. And I loved how the story went. This is a story that Stephen King wished he wrote, but he didn't. It's very good. If you haven't seen it, I would very much recommend it. And it's a Canadian movie, so gotta give credit where it's due. Number 5, The Wild Robot. Hands down, one of my favorite animated movies in many years. This one was so good I went and saw it twice, and I don't usually do that with animated movies. I love the colors, I love the design, I love the stories, I love the heart-rendering hits. I loved the segments of the film, whether it would be the training montages to the winter sequences to how the movie ended. I enjoyed a lot more of this movie than I was expecting, and it is a movie for both kids and for adults. It's a wonderful little treasure, and I definitely can't wait to own this when it comes out. Number 4, The Substance. Probably the most fucked up movie of the year I saw, but damn if this thing did not get its hooks into me and kept me there for the whole ride. Margot Qualley and Demi Moore absolutely killed it with this movie. It feels uncomfortable, but it's such a fantastic look at beauty standards and the fear and self-loathing that people go through. Still to this day, the best scene in that movie is when she's trying to leave her apartment to go on a date. It's not even scary. It's just so real. Number 3, Late Night with the Devil. Was not expecting this to be good either. And I certainly was not expecting it to be this good. One of my several 7s of the year, which is the highest rating I can give, thoroughly transfixed with this movie. Lee does a fantastic job finally getting to stand in the limelight, and it's so good with how it pulls you along. It even will give you the next plot element. It's not even a red herring. It's like what is actually going to happen. It will put it right in front of you, and it will distract you enough with what is happening around it to be able to come right back to it and be like, wow, I totally forgot about this because I was just so transfixed with how the story goes. It's spooky, it's well acted, it's well documented, such a really good movie, but it is not my number 1 horror movie of the year. Number 2 goes to my number 1 horror movie of the year, being Nosferatu. This guy coming in Christmas, and I broke my never seeing a movie on Christmas Day record with this movie, and goddamn am I happy I did. Robert Eggers absolutely killed it. Watching this in IMAX was an absolute fucking treat. I have never been so scared of a man's mustache and his breathing before. I felt tense. I felt uncomfortable. I felt enthralled with how good this movie was at spooking the shit out of me. Eggers did a fantastic job. I loved every element of this movie, from the acting to the story design to the cinematography to the color. Everything in this movie just works. It is the best vampire movie I've seen in a while. You absolutely deserve to go and see it. It's so fucking good. And then number one, it's kind of given with the shirt, but my number one movie for the year is Dune Part 2. I went and saw this in theaters 4 times. I was so transfixed with how Denis just brought this story to life, with how Greg Fraser framed all of the elements, how Timothy brought that incredible battle going on within Paul, and how he was viewing everything that was going around him. The film has a fantastic score, of course, by Hans Zimmer. Every element of this movie was just so goddamn good. The track Arrival, of when he arrives at the ritual site and starts talking down everyone by being able to look into the future and the past, that is still probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire year. I have that music on my treadmill playlist. It's so good. Dune Part 2 showed that this series has elements to it that can be watched by people who aren't big sci-fi fans. And the fact that they are making Messiah is so good to me. I'm very, very happy for that. I'm very, very excited to see what they do with that. But Dune Part 2 just did everything right for me. Its pacing, its storytelling, its action, its music, its cinematography. Every part about that movie is so good. Every time I went and saw it in the theater, I could not give myself a piss break. It was just too good to walk away even for a minute. And that's it, guys. Those are my top movies of 2024. Really hope you guys enjoyed this list. I will be doing a worst of soon, but I just wanted to get this done before the year was over. But of course, as always, I am very curious to see what you guys thought were your favorite movies of the year. What were your best? Especially for those I don't get to see. I am hoping to see a few of those movies I mentioned earlier. Thank you guys all for this year. This was actually one of the best years for the channel. I'm kind of amazed saying that. I'm never one to want notoriety or attention on this channel. I just like that I can say what I want and talk about what I want on here, and I can have a discussion with people whether they agree with me or not. So regardless, thank you guys for giving me time out of your day to listen. I appreciate that more than you can know. Anyways, guys, that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed this. Looking forward to 2025. Hope you are too. If you liked it, leave a like. And if you want to subscribe. We hit over 5,000 subscribers this year. Again, was not expecting that, but very, very grateful for it. And until then, guys, I'll see you next year.